This video is dedicated to all the teachers that said he would never amount to nothing. The Notorious B.I.G. baby. Listen, I was born in 77, so we're talking about close to the birth of also hip hop. Growing up, hip hop in its infancy was not widely accepted in American culture. It was looked at as a ghetto thing, a black and Hispanic thing from poor communities. And many people didn't expect it to survive. It was just going to be another passing fad like disco. So for me, to have my first fully articulated Biggie action figure, that's like wow, like a dream come true. I know Mezco has put out some Biggie and Pac figures some years in the past. I've looked them up. I've got them on my eBay watch list, but I can't afford them, So I'm super excited to have a 1/12 scale Notorious B.I.G. And he was a transformative figure in my childhood and my growing up. And I was devastated, man, on his passing. And here we are, man. We're going to celebrate the Notorious B.I.G., a.k.a. Christopher Wallace Ultimates. Shout out to Super7 for putting out the toys that nobody is, man. So, yeah, let's jump right in. All right, looking at B.I.G. in the package. We've got the gold foil behind them. So he's like completely encased in gold here. He's got his cane, 3 additional pair of hands, 3 face portraits, your mic, and your glass of champagne. The Notorious B.I.G. Ultimates. The Notorious B.I.G. born Christopher Wallace on May 21st, 1972, grew up in Brooklyn's Bedford-Stuyvesant neighborhood. He is the GOAT, man, and the GOAT could mean so many different things, I guess, man. But, man, when I tell you that, man, when I got the phone call that Biggie was killed, man, I cried, bro. I was like, oh, no, man. I was 18 years old, man. I was like, wow. It was like the world came crushing and crashing down, bro. He was like the inspiration of a generation, bro. Like, that is like an understatement, even me saying it. This is a pride and joy. And for anybody that's going to say, yo, bro, you shouldn't have taken him out. I got to take him out. I'm an out-of-box collector, and, this is Biggie. You know what I mean? So I got to have Biggie in different poses with different people and different action figures and different scenarios. We're going to keep Biggie alive, you know what I mean, through that interaction. Let's jump right in and we'll keep talking. Let's get in this and let's open them up. And as I was saying, this guy was a force. He was a cultural phenomenon. And it just captured everybody, man. And it took everybody on a wild ride, man. We were from the ghetto and we were poor, but this guy was out there saying that he was fat, black, ashy, and nasty, and he still was out there having a good time. He was telling everybody, yo, put on a nice shirt and go out to a party and have a good time, man. Be happy where you're from. And it was a wonderful, amazing time, man. He came at a great time, man, in the early 90s, man, when really the inner city communities really needed that upliftment, man, that feel good vibe of, yo, love where you from. This is what we got. Let's love it. What a beautiful time, man. Christopher Wallace, the Notorious B.I.G. So let's get our friend out of the package here, and let's check him out. I could tell you immediate impressions. I'm gushing. So take everything I tell you today with today's review with a grain of salt, because I'm gushing. You know what I mean? This is my first Biggie action figure in this size. I do have the 3.75 inch from Super7 in reaction form, and they're wonderful. You should pick them up. So I'm gushing. Take everything I say with a grain of salt today. But immediate impressions, I'm loving the face portraits. I feel like Super7 nailed it. My lighting is always off, so check out some other reviews for sure. But they nailed those face portraits, man. And something else that immediately jumped out at me was the hair. Biggie's hair was not like a chocolate brown. It was black. Biggie had black hair. And in the promo shots, his hair is black. So this might be just kind of like something that went down at the factory. All right, let's get him out and let's check him out. All right, the Notorious B.I.G. We've got him rocking that really stylish, you know, cowboy looking hat, for lack of a better name for it. I'm sorry about that. I've got him with his, I think those are Versace shades. I don't really know, you know what I'm saying? I loved hearing him rap about all that stuff and seeing him wear it. But I never could afford that stuff. But he looks absolutely dope. We've got him with his Godfather cane there. And of course, he's rocking his Jesus piece. Whoa. All right, this is a good chance, though, to look at the shades. And you can see that they go way back all the way to the ear. So that's really, really cool. Looking at the suit, you can see that there is, the plastic is made of like a nice brown. But then there is some shading in certain places, making it a bit darker. You know, lighter up here by the shoulders, darker around the collar. You got some of that shading around the wrinkling of the sleeve. Pretty cool. A lot of shading on the pants and the wrinkles of the pants. The plastic is pretty soft. In terms of articulation, you're not going to get the leg much up higher than that. So you'll get him kind of like in a step pose, but you're not going to get a good seated pose out of him. You know, you might have to get a high chair. And if you had a high chair, you could sit him back, you know. Give you a look from the side there. I have the Tony Montana chair from 5K Toys, Furious Tony, but that chair is going to sit too low for my Biggie. But I will look for a taller sitting throne. Probably it would have to sit like 2.5 or 3 inches, right? Like 3 inches up to sit Biggie. I'll look on Etsy. But heck yeah, man. I love the look of him, man. I gotta paint the hair black. You know? They did try to give him like a fade look, but it definitely is not faded. But he does kind of have like that high cut. Looking at this particular portrait, before we look at the others, you know what? On the head, nice. It's on a double ball peg. Tight snap. You've got good movement. That was a previous problem with Ultimates, that there really wasn't a lot of neck movement. But here you got some good neck movement, and you're going to get your tilt. Looking at the portrait, they nailed it, man. The cheeks, under here, like on the outsides of the mouth, the nose, the eyebrows, bro. Man, so dope, man. What a tragic, terrible loss, man. The Notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace, man. We've got some of the hands, and he's got one of his pinky rings. We have the cane holding hand, could also hold his microphone, his Kango. And it is shaped on the inside so that it could sit on his head the way he used to wear his Kango. You know, so forgive me if I don't nail the exact right angle, but that is how it's sculpted and designed. But you could work with it yourself until you get the exact right fit and take some beautiful shots, man. Beautiful figure, man. Loving this head portrait. Biggie also has a fist with his pinky ring. That pinky ring is on pretty much every left hand. And open. This one is probably better for the microphone. Smaller grip. Left hand, same size grip as that hand. Pinky ring. And then, actually, I think this is the champagne hand. Because it's like a... see how the finger on this one is like more pointy? Yep, that's what it's for. You know, for like toasting, like when he's doing his cheers. Very dope, man. These hands are super soft. Like the fingers and stuff, they're not stiff at all, and they don't feel like, you know, you have to worry about them breaking or something. They just feel like, I don't know, like soft mannequin hands or something. I don't know, even his thumb. So that's cool, man. That's cool. Quick look at the inside of the jacket. Super7 has Biggie rocking a Super7 made in China shirt. But heck yeah. My man Biggie holding the microphone. Let's see how that pose looks. You know what? Let's switch this out. There we go, man. And I like how you can see the pinky ring even on the inside of the finger. You know, the paint is really crisp and bright and metallic. Super dope. Close look at his boots. Traditional wear for the era, you know, and back then, this was like all the rage. I feel they nailed it. The treads on the bottom, or whatever those are called. You know, you've got the strings painted well. You've got the tongue flapped. It is a nice opening there so that it'll give you your movement with the ankle. In terms of articulation up, you can get good toe up. Look at that, you know, just for some comparison between the 2 feet. That is really, really generous considering that he's got these baggy pants. I think it's done really, really well, man. The molding on the baggy pants. You've got swivel at the upper thigh. You will get a little bit of split. We already saw the knees. He does have swivel at the waist underneath the shirt. And then he does have an upper diaphragm cut as well. That'll give you some additional swivel. And I'll show you that there. All right, so he is well articulated. Everything feels stiff and great for posing and for longevity of posing. This is an absolutely wonderful figure. Close-up look at that face portrait with the open wrapping mouth. Nicely painted teeth. I mean, I feel like they have the facial expressions down, man. That is a second different sculpt for his eyebrows. And I feel like they nailed it, man. Oh, check this out, right? So let me see this one then. As we look in the back of this one, right? The first face portrait I said had a hard line cut here on the back of the head. This one has some shading indicating the fade. All right. And then this one has even more shading indicating that he has a fade. And over here, you even have some shading for what would be his 5 o'clock shadow or sideburns. So that's notable that this one was missing some shading. But also, at least that shading is black. You know, so when I paint the full hair black, it'll blend. It'll blend. Because you blend. I think that's from my cousin Vinny. I don't know where that came from. Probably, you know, because of the same era. Let's look at the third portrait. And this one here on your right is a little different from the first in that he's got the snarl. That little curl in the upper portion of his lip with more of a stern look instead of a relaxed look. And this one has the lazy eye, but again, not looking too pronounced so that it distracts from the rest of his face. I think it was tactfully and tastefully done. Beautiful figure, man. Way to go, man. Biggie is in the house, baby, baby. He was talking about, you never thought that hip-hop would take it this far 30 years ago. You know, if he only had a chance to see where hip-hop would go and the global phenomenon that it will become, man, even beyond where he had already helped take it with others, you know, wow, the amazing things we would have seen, you know. And as the years have gone on and on and on, and we've seen so many MCs and so many amazing artists, and we've seen amazing artists become 100 millionaires multiple times over, and we've seen billionaires and so many things, man. And you know what, man? There's only one Big, man. There's only one Christopher Wallace. Still to this day, all these years later, and time is what is the true test, right? And then we had the celebrating 50 years of hip hop, amazing concert recently. And Super7 is delivering hip hop characters for us to enjoy and showing essentially what is the immortality of this culture that came from inner city youth, you know, in New York City and all over the country and has spread, you know, worldwide at this point. We've got our ODB, we've got our Christopher Wallace, the Notorious B.I.G., and I'm just taken by these figures. I'm taken by sharing with you the things that I've shared with you in this video. Honestly, I'm kind of like caught up in the moment. I'm lost for words, because this is like a full cycle moment for me as a kid all those years ago, as a young person in the work field, coming full circle all these years. I'm a dad. I have kids in college, and I have 3 dogs and a cat. And I'm almost 50, you know, and just seeing it last to me feels so special. And to see these 2 figures from my childhood, from a culture that I celebrated in my youth and I celebrate to this day and I'm proud of, and to see them so well represented, I feel like it's a triumph of some kind. But heck yeah, man, this was so awesome. I'm so excited for what's going on with these hip hop legends from Super7. I think they're onto something here. We had somebody make a similar comment in the comments, and I really hope we go super deep with hip hop legends. I hope it's not only isolated to you know, right now New York rappers or whatever. I hope we get other legends from around the country. But this is definitely a start. This is definitely a start. I would love to see the entire Wu-Tang Clan, including Capadonna. I want to see Eric B and Rakim, but I know they're going to come. Slick Rick is coming. KRS-One is coming. Biz Markie is coming. Kwame is coming. You know, so Salt and Pepper's coming. You know, so that means we're going to get Queen Latifah, MC Light. I want Lauryn Hill, the Fugees. You know, so heck yeah, shout out to the people out there making the toys that little kids like me wanted ever since they were a little kid, man. And shout out to everybody out there that has the courage to keep on being a little kid, even though you're about 46, 50 years old. Keep that inspiration and that love of art and that love of inspiration alive. Until next time, everybody, thank you so much for coming out and sharing in the experience of collecting toys as an adult, especially of your childhood heroes. And until next time, take care.